Spencer, good morning. What do you think? Has the iPad's moment, is it going to pass, or do you think Apple can sustain the momentum it's seen over the last year? What does it need to deliver at today's event?
Well, the lineup has gotten very confusing for consumers. I just went through this personally, trying to decide what type of Apple machine to buy. It is incredibly cluttered and confusing. There are multiple generations of iPads. I really hope that they come out with a much cleaner lineup that presents less choice, actually. And the blurring of these lines between the iPad Pro, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, it's become dizzying. I mean, I'm interested in the privacy updates that are likely to come out today. I think that's where there's going to be a lot to discuss. So obviously hardware is always interesting, but the software updates and the impact on privacy and the ad tracking and the online advertising industry, that's going to be fascinating.
And I wonder what you think, Spencer, about the productivity push that we've seen over the past year and what happens to it now. In IBM earnings, it seems to me there was an indication on the enterprise side that buy-in patterns are perhaps going back to what's more normal. If they go back to what's more normal on the consumer side, does that mean a slowdown in PC buying and a shift towards spending money on other things? And then I guess your privacy thoughts in with that as well.
Yeah, well, the wild card is this work from home situation, right? I mean, companies are still trying to figure this out. It's pretty clear that most companies are not returning to the old normal where you have to be in a headquarters every single day. That's going to cause our home offices, our home environments to be a hybrid office and personal situation. And companies are struggling trying to figure out what should their reimbursement policy be for this type of hardware that you have at home. So there's still so many unknowns which are going to impact everything from Dell to Apple to IBM on the consumer and the business side as companies sort out new policies and figure out what's expected of employees. On the privacy side,
Spencer,
go ahead, John.
I was just going to say on that point, before you move on to privacy, Morgan Stanley tried to take stock of this in a survey last week, Katie Huberty, and they ended up raising their PC shipment forecast to 16.5 because of what they see as a tailwind to commercial PC demand on exactly what you're describing, and that is companies trying to figure out who's going to work where and then having to reinvent their IT budgets as a result. It's going to mean more spending, they think.
Well, the huge savings that are going to come from companies reducing their office footprint, some of those are going to go into things like software and hardware to improve worker productivity. I mean, as an angel investor, I'm betting heavily that a lot of those savings or some of those savings are going to go into software to improve employee coordination, employee communication, culture, morale at companies. And obviously, we've seen huge winners in software like Slack and Zoom around productivity, but there's going to be another software suite that grows around helping these remote workers coordinate. On the hardware side, same thing. I mean, clearly these companies are saying to themselves, look, if we're going to save $50 million a year of less office space, then surely we can turn around and spend $2,000, $3,000 per employee, per knowledge worker employee to help them be more productive at home or in a remote hybrid environment. So that's going to translate into some hardware purchasing for sure.